Top story, though, here on Sunrise. Sky News has learnt that Ministry of Defence officials knew one of its Nimrod aircraft had major problems months before it exploded, killing all 14 servicemen on board. The incident in Afghanistan 13 months ago remains the single biggest loss of life suffered by Britain's armed forces since the Falklands War. Now, the father of one of the men killed in the explosion says he can prove the RAF was negligent by ignoring problems with the ageing Nimrod fleet. Sky's defence correspondent Jeff Mead has this exclusive report.
Ben Knight, just 25, was among 14 servicemen who died in the British forces' biggest single loss of life in Afghanistan so far, when their Nimrod surveillance aircraft blew up just 3 minutes from landing more than a year ago. Whilst hostile action was swiftly ruled out, some of those grieving, like Ben's father, have come to believe pressure of operations and cost-cutting may have led to the disaster.
What I want to know is why was there a leak on the wing, and if as from what I've seen, that even in August there were still leaks on the wing, you know, that there were still quite bad leaks in August, then I think that they were the pressure to try and get these planes up when they were asked to was meaning that they cut corners.
The aircraft, like this one, blew up shortly after the pilot reported a fire following mid-air refuelling. Using the Freedom of Information Act, the West Country web designers amassed a dossier of evidence, including a list of fuel leaks that he claims points towards overloading of the wings, causing a rupture in the fuel tanks.
The main problem where leaks were was what's known as a boss pod here.
And RAF internal emails leaked to the families by worried service people appear to suggest commanders knew about the risk of fuel leaks months before. On the 2nd of December 2005, one singled out the doomed aircraft by number. XV230 has fuel leak issues which need to be rectified before the aircraft can be deployed. By February, the toll of operating 1950s designs over Afghanistan was adding to the problem. The age of the airframe, combined with the aggressive tempo with which we are flying the jets in stark temperature shifts, is contributing to our leak headache. And the same month, fuel leaks on the Nimrod NR2 aircraft now pose a significant threat to the force being able to meet commitments and operational tasking. But with barely enough aircraft to operate near round-the-clock surveillance, no grounding order was given. That is, until after 14 lives were lost in a fireball over Kandahar. By then, it was too late, even though this aviation expert says BAE, the plane's makers, had earlier warned the Air Force.
You need to know exactly why the BAE advice back in 2004 that the fuel system needed to be addressed to ensure the safety case for the aircraft, why that advice wasn't taken.
If we didn't have confidence in the aircraft, we wouldn't continue to fly them, is the RAF's reply. Nimrod has a good safety record and remains a potent and respected aircraft.
We believe that it's the RAF that killed him. It was the RAF that was looking after the plane. It's the RAF that had the duty to make sure that plane was airworthy and, you know, wouldn't explode in mid-air, really.
The Defence Ministry here, like all government departments, will never respond officially to leaked documents beyond repeating its assurance that the Nimrod is still considered airworthy and safe. So has Graham Knight uncovered worrying complacency, or is he, perhaps understandably, a grieving father looking for someone to blame? That may be determined by the accident report due to publish next month, or more likely the much more public inquest in the new year. Jeff Mead, Sky News, Whitehall.
Now, earlier this morning, I spoke to a former RAF pilot, Andrew Brooks. He's now an analyst at the International Institute for Strategic Studies, and he said air crews are being unfairly blamed.
At Kinloss, there would be a team of uniformed men looking after their aeroplane, signing it off, overseen by somebody else also signing off that is a serviceable airplane every time it flies. And the implication that somehow all these servicemen are combining to send their mates to their doom, I think it's slanderous.
OK, Gillian's here now with the rest of the day's stories. Gillian.
Thank you very much, Chris. Good morning. The government is set to announce plans to vaccinate thousands of 12-year-old girls from a virus which causes cervical cancer. The human papillomavirus vaccine